Onorato and Company. I say it all the time. It's usually like 96% sports. But sometimes when you get the opportunity to speak to an award-winning musical performer like Lindsey Stirling, you don't say no. So it's great to have Lindsey on the show with us here. Thank you for doing this, Lindsey. You'll be in Albany next week. I know you've played Palace Theater before as well. How's the tour going so far?
The tour's been great. We've been out now for 2 weeks. It's crazy how fast it goes by when I guess we always joke that it's kind of like Groundhog Day because every day is kind of the same. But like we can't believe that we're almost like halfway through this tour. But it's been so fun. The shows have been really rewarding because we worked really hard on this show. I feel like it's kind of been years in the making as we've just continued to improve upon our Christmas show. And this is a whole new one. And so, yeah, we're really proud of it. The audiences have been amazing. And it's fun to finally spread Christmas.
So the Snow Waltz tour is coming to Albany's Palace Theater. That's Tuesday, December 6th. You can still get tickets for it to see this incredible performer that we have an opportunity to speak with here. Now, I will be fully transparent, Lindsey. My only musical background, I love music, as most people do. I will say I can't play it. I haven't really tried. The last time I played a musical instrument was in the 3rd grade when I was required to play the recorder. So when I see what you do with a violin, I'm absolutely blown away.
Oh, well, thank you. Coming from a savant like yourself. Oh, man. Good old recorder days.
But in all seriousness, let me ask you, how do you find out that you are good at doing what you do, which is beyond just playing the violin? It's such a choreographed performance.
Yes. I think the truest answer to that is hard work, to be honest. I think I was like somewhat of a natural. I was not a prodigy violinist. I was not the best violinist, but I stuck with it and I was willing to work really hard at it. And same with dance. I never danced until I was like in my 20s. And I was, again, not super natural at it, or, I wasn't like a gifted dancer, but I was willing to like keep trying and work really hard at it. And I think that's the name of the game, is like in this industry, it's just about who's going to keep trying, who's going to not give up. And I feel like that's probably the answer for everything I do, whether it's songwriting or, costume designing, all the things. It's just like, I keep working at it till I come up with a great idea, and eventually it'll work.
So most people who watch this show will say that, we talk to athletes and coaches and broadcasters and those types of things. But we've had the great opportunity to speak with Broadway actors recently as well. And I've asked the genie who's playing in Aladdin, how do you manage to sing and dance and do all the things that you do? And he said, honestly, a lot of my rehearsal is done on a treadmill. So I know you're not singing, but how do you stay in shape for what it is that you do?
Yeah. And actually I do sing in this show, and I've had to learn. I do it while on a lyra. So like a hoop that spins and I'm upside down. And it's actually, this is the most athletic, performance I've ever done because of the aerial work that we've added. And so it's been kind of fun to have to train in that way. I've always had to train a little bit like an athlete to get ready for a tour that's full of this much choreography. And I do actually like have to bounce and practice so I can get used to like moving and playing. But also this tour, with having to have the breath capacity to sing while exerting strength and lifting myself and upside down. I have done running and singing. And like I said, I've had to train like an athlete for this tour, which is fun and challenging. And I like a challenge.
One thing that I had to educate myself on as well ahead of speaking with you was the number of names there are to different violins. I guess if you're not in it, you don't know it.
Right.
But I've found some of the names to be fun. There are, it seems like, almost an endless list of them, but you have your particular favorites, don't you?
I do. I love the classic sound of just a beautiful old wood violin. And so I do play that on tour. For part of the show, I play my violin. I have names for my violins as well. Just personally, I name all of them. So that's Excalibur. I also play Bob Ross in the show, which again, I named that violin, but that's a Yamaha electric. And that's what most of my violins are in the show is Yamaha electrics that I've kind of like bedazzled or decorated so that they match my costumes.
Amazing.
And it just makes it fun.
Yeah, it is so cool. Dancing with the Stars, America's Got Talent. You were a Forbes 30 under 30 in music, but also as I was reading up on you, Lindsey, I noticed that you went to BYU.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Capital Region, which is where we are in Albany, what we call it Capital Region, I'm going to say the most famous BYU basketball player ever. Now, not Danny Ainge, but somebody who was just a little after you at BYU, Jimmer Fredette is from our area.
Yeah. I was actually still in Provo. I think I was in my senior year when Jimmer Fredette was there.
Okay.
And that was really a fun time to be at school at the Y.
Did you I don't know how much you followed basketball after you left Provo, but Jimmer Mania swept the entire country. Is that something you remember?
Absolutely. No, I do remember. We were really proud to be, to have him at our school at that time. And I remember I never even got to meet Jimmer, but I just thought it was so cool that, like, I don't know, anytime you're on a campus when sports is going well, like there's just such a unity, or even in a city, like when your team is doing well, there is a unity that comes from that I don't think happens with music artists. Like you can all like a different music artist, but when your city or your school has an athlete or a team that's like excelling, there's like a really special energy that comes with that and unity.
Amen to that. All right. You have performed with so many other great musicians as well. You have played the national anthem, speaking of sports, ahead of big time sporting events. What haven't you done? You've traveled worldwide on your tours, 13.5 million YouTube subscribers. What haven't you done that you still want to do?
That's a great question. I always wanted to have a residency somewhere. Like I love doing shows, I love touring, but I've always wanted to possibly have like a Vegas residency so that we can kind of set up shop somewhere. There's certain things you just can't do in a show when it has to be taken up and put down all in one day. Mm-hmm. And so I've always thought it'd be really fun to do a Vegas residency for a time.
Is there something too that would be nice that like to not have to travel for 2 straight months or earlier on in your career where you were going the majority of a calendar year?
Yeah, I mean, I will always love touring, but there is something very exhausting about sleeping on a bus every night and like trying to get a full night's sleep and then wake up and be on for performing and press and meet and greets and stuff. Yeah. So there would be something really nice about going to your home, your residential place after your performance. And I always joke that I would want to just get a huge Airbnb and have my whole crew and team all like live in a big Airbnb mansion together. I think that would just be like so much fun.
Yeah, like Entourage. That'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. My own Entourage.
It is the Snow Waltz tour. The album is Snow Waltz, and you can get it right now. LindseyStirling.com is the easiest place to get that. Coming to the Palace Theater in downtown Albany on Tuesday, December 6th. And I found that this won't be your first time playing the Palace either. It was at least a handful of years ago that you were in Albany, maybe for the first time, but the Capital Region is excited to have you back. I was telling somebody when I told the newsroom that I had the opportunity to speak with you, the entire place was like, "What? You're talking with Lindsey Stirling? I can't believe." So big fans in the Capital Region and in the 518 here. It'll be a great show and a great crowd. I know that for sure. Thank you for doing this while you're on the road, making this stop to hang out with us for a little bit, Lindsey. We really appreciate it.